Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Judge Jeanine Pirro, Jessica Tarlov, Kennedy, and Jimmy Fala. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. The liberal media is head over heels for Kamala Harris, but fear the Veep could break their heart once voters start paying attention.
Kamala-mania. Kamala-mania, just energy, energy, energy. She has not done any major interviews. There's opportunity for her to do well there or not. She certainly hasn't got a chance to debate Trump yet. So there are things on the horizon. But where she is right now, sometimes the person makes the moment, and sometimes the moment makes a person. This was a moment that was crying out for some kind of breakthrough, some kind of hope.
Now, while Kamala's been getting glowing media reviews, she hasn't answered reporters' questions since Democrats tossed Biden aside and anointed her the nominee. Well, until last night, when she was forced to speak off the cuff and offered up one of her word salads. Watch.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy.
Her team later tried to cover up her non-sentences by tweeting out a completely different quote with apparently what she meant to say. And now, President Trump and J.D. Vance are directly calling out the media for constantly putting Harris up on a pedestal.
Now the media's taken over and they're trying to make her into Margaret Thatcher. But I don't think that's going to work. She was the worst vice president. She was the most unpopular and least respected vice president in the history of our country. And now what's happened is the press is trying to make her popular.
Kamala Harris is a chameleon. She goes to Georgia 2 days ago. She was raised in Canada. She puts on a fake Southern accent. She is everything to everybody, and she pretends to be somebody different depending on which audience she's in front of.
And now, as part of Kamala's rebrand, the VP is completely ditching Biden's campaign advisors and running to replace them with Obama campaign veterans. Jessica Tarlov, you know how sometimes when Trump talks off prompter, some of us get a little like, okay, where are we going here? When Kamala Harris talks without a teleprompter, how does that make you feel? Be honest, Jessica.
Oh, well, now I have to totally change my answer. She doesn't always do great, and everybody knows that. And the people who are voting for her know that, and it's the job of the people who are running on the other side to be making more out of those moments and seeing if you can pick off independent voters with that. Because this is now a base election. Democrats are thrilled with what's going on. We're donating money. It's the biggest fundraising month in history, $310 million. Two-thirds of those are new donors. People are jazzed. We're ready to go. And it's going to be a couple 100,000 people in 5 to 6 states, right, that are deciding this. So keep running it on loop, but that's certainly not stopping any of us. J.D. Vance calling Kamala Harris a chameleon when he's now running with a man who he said might be America's Hitler is beyond comprehension. And for Donald Trump to be talking about how easy of a time that she's getting, she's just coasting by, he at this point is basically getting a free ride to continue talking about, like I've said, electrocuting sharks and all of no, it's true. People have it so baked in.
Between whether you want to get eaten by a shark or electrocuted by your EV.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, then all of it makes sense. Donald Trump is really flailing at this particular moment. He has spent the week trying to post pictures of Kamala's Indian family to claim that means that she isn't black. And Kamala Harris has been barnstorming all over the country. She had a huge rally in Atlanta. And like I said, the enthusiasm is up. And the forecasts now are even slightly favoring her. Rasmussen, which is Trump's probably favorite pollster, has her up 5 points. It's a good week for Kamala Harris and not a good week for Donald Trump.
Okay, Judge Jeanine.
She is in a honeymoon period. I mean, there's no question about it. But I want to say, will the real Kamala Harris please stand up? You know, we've been subjected for the past 3.5 years to word salad, and of course, in her first unscripted comment since she became the designated candidate. Now she is officially the designated candidate. The first one was a word salad. You know, when you don't know what to say, you just keep repeating what you just said. And even her own campaign had to come out and clean it up. It reminded me of the Joe Biden cleanup team. But she is inauthentic. She is bizarre. She cackles. We don't know what her public persona is. And that's just talking about what we're seeing on the outside. Now she's adopting Republican talking points. Now she believes in fracking when she didn't believe in fracking. And now it's like, you know, all of a sudden, you know, we're not going to mandate that we take away your guns. And she doesn't want the single payer health care anymore. I mean, now she's like a Republican. I don't know what she is. And so when she adopts these Republican positions, when she has an accent in a state where she never grew up in, you know, I agree with Van Jones. Van Jones is worried. He's worried for good reason.
Do you believe that this is a tight race and it's going to come down to just a couple handful of voters in a few key swing states?
Yeah, and I think that the race is going to swing like those swing states. I think Trump's going to be up a little bit. I think she is going to be up a little bit. And I think what it's going to come down to in the end, when people are either early voting or they're in a voting booth, they're going to think about how they're going to feed their families. And for a lot of people, you know, these two candidates are so unique and hysterical because we swapped in Kamala Harris, who's as big of a gaffe machine as Joe Biden. And so when you watch President Trump, you spit out your coffee because you cannot believe what he just said. But don't worry, you're not going to go hungry because she feeds you a constant word salad and you're not going to unring that bell anytime soon. Like, she will continue to say stupid things. She will be incapable of defending her own record. If she could defend her record, she would have been able to handle the Tulsi Gabbard jujitsu that she served up to her during the 2020 race. Anytime her record is truly challenged by someone, she gets this sourpuss look on her face, and then she cackles, and then she gets really serious, and then she says something stupid. So we need to put her in a position where she is going to be much more honest about her inability to defend the incomprehensibly bad decisions she made as DA, Attorney General, Senator, and Vice President, because she has a god-awful record, and her personal peccadillos are nothing in comparison to her trail of failures. Other than that, I think she's great.
Other than that, she's great.
Yes.
Do you think Kamala Harris is smart?
Speaking as a guy who went to community college and majored in Atari, I feel like this is a trick question. Let me tell you what I know. She has a major fundraising advantage because at her speeches, they can charge people to get out. Okay, you can't do that with a traditional candidate. There's just the one fee. This time they're hitting her on the back end. Here's the real performance art of this, and we know it to be true. And I'm not trying to make it all about me or my Saturday night TV show, Fox News Saturday Night with Jimmy Fallon, which you can all watch at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox News Channel. We coined a phrase last week. It's called fomentum. It is a fake momentum. This was not a good week for her. It was a good week for the people propping her up, who wanted her off the ticket 3 months ago. But now that they have her on, they're all in. But you know they don't believe in her, or they wouldn't be making the effort to strike her record clean. We're like a day away from the media saying she was never VP. Okay? They've disavowed everything she's ever done. So I think the challenge here for her is to minimize her actual exposure and let the myth building be done by the media. If it really does come down to the candidate, there's no chance I don't think she's going to win because they don't think she's going to win. Okay, if they thought she was strong, Biden would have been pushed out of here like a year ago. Okay, and that's why I think this is going to end with the surge coming face to face with reality, which is that she is Kamala Harris, for whatever that means. Smart, not smart, she's that thing. You can say smart. Listen,
tax and spend liberal.
No one thinks she's that smart.
Destroy the economy.
Jessica,
not true.
Yeah, no one. She's not smart. Everybody knows she's not smart. Even she knows she's not that smart, Jessica. When you hear about the Obama team now taking over, does that make you feel happy? Does that make you feel worried? What do you think?
Well, it's not the full Obama team. It's David Plouffe, and I think that's a really smart hire. Why wouldn't you want David Plouffe on your team? He's coming on as a senior advisor. She hasn't pushed Jen O'Malley-Dillon out. She's using the same pollsters. The infrastructure is still there, but she wants as many talented, smart people who have gotten Democrats elected as possible in her orbit. I think it makes a ton of sense. And he'll be a great influence on this. You want as many people, and this is what we always say with the clips of James Carville. It might have been races in the 90s that he won, but anyone who has managed to pull this off, it's an incredible feat to get someone elected president of the United States of America. You want them as close to you as. Why are you looking weirdly?
No,
like
I
Bill.
heard something in my ear. It has nothing to do with you.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, for now. Anyway, I think I think it's a great move.
Okay, we'll see how it plays out. Jessica, thanks for your contributions. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.